learners, welcome to one more session with Connect to Learn. My name is Mukta Singh and today's video is about a literary device. Now, before I tell you more about this literary device, let us first understand that what is a literary device. So it's a technique that the writers use in their writing to convey information, to express ideas, and hint at themes and meanings. And it helps them to enhance the writing, strengthen the narrative, and engage the readers. There are many different types of literary devices like similes, metaphors, and idioms. So in today's video, we are going to talk about one of the literary devices, which is imagery. Now, what is imagery? Let us know and learn. For that, I'm going to share my screen with you. So let's begin. An introduction to descriptive writing, sensory imagery. So sensory imagery or imagery is a literary device, as I already said, that the writers use to paint a picture in the mind of the audience. So a sensory imagery is created with the help of the sensory details. Okay, it appeals to our 5 sense organs. All right, sound, taste, sight, smell, and touch. All these descriptions are included in the writing. So our sense organs, which help us to be aware of our surroundings, to understand it in a better way of how a thing looks like, how a object or a sound is, and how a smell is, or how a thing or an object or something to eat tastes like, or how an object feels on our skin, or how it weighs, what's the weight. All right. So all the details, all the descriptions help the readers to get a clear picture of what the writer is trying to convey with the help of these descriptions. And it creates like a mind movie, as if you're watching what you're reading. It pulls the readers into the world of the story and it helps them to get immersed into the world of the story. So think about when you read a book or when your friend tells you a captivating story and shares an experience. Okay, so there is often quite a bit of description that helps you to imagine it as if you were with them in their experience. Yes, now let's see some of the examples to understand better. Let's begin with auditory imagery, which means what you can hear. This imagery helps you to imagine sound. For example, in the sentence, the cat shrieked endlessly outside my bedroom window. There was barely a moment of silence. So which means that the cat was creating a lot of noise and the writer was not able to sleep or get rest because of the sound. Okay, so we can easily imagine the cat shrieking and breaking the silence. Next, the soft patter of the raindrop drummed gently against the window, each drop like a tiny tap on the glass. This is such a beautiful description. Suppose if the writer writes, it was raining outside. It helps us to know that yes, it was raining, but the kind of description the writer has given here helps us as readers to clearly understand the surrounding, the kind of sounds the character was able to hear in the story, in the setting. Next, as I walked through the forest, the leaves crunched loudly under my feet, echoing in the quiet woods. Next, the waves crashed against the shore with a thunderous roar, sending a misty spray into the air. Now, suppose if the writer writes a simple plain sentence like, I saw the waves on the beach. It doesn't give us a vivid and clear understanding of what sounds he could hear on the beach. But the descriptive words like thunderous roar helps us to imagine the sound. Okay. Next, the giggles and the whispers of the children fill the playground with a melody of joy and excitement. So it clearly helps us to understand the kind of sounds that were present on the playground. Next, we have gustatory imagery, which means it talks about the taste, okay? Experience or the imagination of the taste. All right. So it helps you to imagine the flavor. Example sentence: the rich coconut milk combined perfectly with notes of paprika to bring out the sweetness of pumpkin soup. The lemon was so sour it made my mouth pucker. Next, the chocolate was rich and creamy, melting on my tongue. The spicy salsa burned on my tongue, but I kept eating it. The apple was crisp and sweet with a hint of tartness. Now, each of these descriptions helps the reader to taste the food by describing its flavor. Imagine the flavor of the food that the writer has written or described about. Next, we have visual imagery of what things the writer wants us to imagine or to see, visualize. For example, in the sentence, he's describing how the sky looks like. So the sky was bright blue with fluffy white clouds floating across it. Her dress was deep red like a ripe cherry. So he has compared the colored red with that of a ripe cherry, which clearly makes us imagine the color of the dress. Next, the golden sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky orange and pink. Lastly, the garden was full of colorful flowers, yellow sunflowers, purple lavenders, and red roses. So we can easily visualize, we can easily imagine, get a picture in our mind that there's a garden and it's colorful because of the multiple flowers which have different colors. Okay. Next is olfactory imagery. And this talks about the scent. Okay. How you can imagine the scent, the smell. Example, I opened my old gym bag only to be confronted with thick, musty scent of sweaty clothes that had been marinating. So this clearly explains the smell the character or the writer got when he opened his gym bag, old gym bag. Next, the kitchen was filled with warm, comforting smell of freshly baked bread. The sharp scent of pine filled the air as we walked through the forest. As I opened the orange, a burst of sweet citrus filled my nose. The damp earth smelled fresh and rich after the rain. So, these descriptions clearly help us to understand or to imagine what smells the scene is describing, okay, in the writing. Next, we have tactile imagery, which means what you can touch. Like, imagine the feeling, the touch. Example, the smooth pebbles had a layer of moss on them that created a slippery sensation under my feet. Now, if the writer does not use the imagery, okay, and he writes simple sentence like, I held the pebble in my hand. But in his mind, he is trying to, like, he's thinking that the pebble is smooth, it's slippery. But if he doesn't use appropriate and proper imagery, he won't be able to convey of how the pebble felt like when he held it in his hand. Examples. Now, the kitten's fur was soft and fluffy like cotton wool. The sand was warm and gritty beneath my bare feet. The ice cube felt cold and slippery in my hand, almost melting instantly. The rough bark of the tree scratched my hands as I climbed up. Okay, so these descriptions help us to understand what a thing feels like on our skin. Now we're going to do an activity where you will read and listen to some descriptions and guess the object. So the sentence is, the wrapper unfurled easily to reveal a velvety smooth block. Its rich taste blended perfectly with the macadamia nuts to provide a wonderful sweetness that hit the spot. So the descriptions like it was inside a wrapper, okay, and smooth velvety block. This taste is sweet, nutty, okay. So what is it? All right, it's a chocolate bar. Next, the bus ride was insufferable. Kids were gossiping incessantly, and a couple next to me were arguing like they were in the middle of a war. Now, all this description is clearly making us understand, can see, imagine the sounds the person is getting when he's sitting on the bus. And what he says next, with one long tap, the noise bled away, and I was in peace. So, what did he do? What did he use to make him like get rid of the chaos and the noise around him? Okay, can you guess? All right, so what was the thing that helped him to get rid of the noise in the bus? A wireless earphone. All right, now there is one more writing challenge for you, where you'll have to use all the knowledge into practice, whatever you have learned in today's video. Okay. And this task is that there is a picture on your screen. It's a landscape, beautiful landscape. You'll have to write a descriptive paragraph for 200 words, and you need to appeal to all the five senses. Okay. And you're not allowed to repeat any adjectives. So do take this writing challenge and let's see how well you do. All right. So this was about today's topic, sensory imagery. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed the lesson. So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Keep learning.